I keep trying to play World of Warcraft and it just isn't working. I think that entire sentence encapsulates the entire dejected World of Warcraft community nowadays.
Lately, I've been spending more time sitting on the character select screen than playing the game. And if you play, you know the screen. All your characters lined up in a row, a whole history of them. And you log in and just sit there looking at them for a while before you finally pick one and load into the world. And then you stand around in the city for a minute or two, and then you quietly log back out again without having done anything at all. I've caught myself
Classic.
doing that so many times these past few months that at some point it stopped feeling like a bad mood I was in for a day, and started feeling like a real question I couldn't get away from, which is whether I even want to play this game anymore. So this is just me being honest with you about something that's been on my mind for a while. No news, no analysis today, just me talking. Because I've been trying to get back into World of Warcraft for a good while now and it hasn't worked, and I wanted to talk about why, since I have a feeling I'm not the only one sitting with this.
No, you're not. And let me tell you exactly why before you even speak about your reason. It's because you probably watched a trailer of World of Warcraft back in the good old days. You probably watched Warlords of Draenor trailer and you went like, damn, this game could have been so good. Or maybe you watched Wrath of the Lich King trailer and went like, damn, this game used to be really good. And you logged into the game trying to relive past expansion and past feeling you had and love for the game. And the moment you logged in, reality hits you. And unfortunately, you just had to quit because you knew that nothing you will do inside of retail WoW would matter. Everything would become null and void once the next patch comes out in like 3 weeks. And there's no reason to play whatsoever because next year you're gonna get a new expansion with a new Disney big bad villain of the week. And none of this would matter. Not the story, not your progress, not your character. Nothing at all.
If any of it sounds familiar, or even if you think I'm being dramatic and I should get over myself, I'd love to hear it in the comments, because that back and forth is my favorite part of doing any of this.
There
And if
is
this
no
is the
back and
kind of
forth with
honest
retail
talk you want
Andes.
more of,
They're just
subscribing
cooked.
is the easiest way to catch the next one.
Literally. I've been trying to have this discussion with retail Andes. It's impossible, brother.
The
Don't even
part that
try.
worries me a little is this. I didn't get angry and quit and slam the door on the way out. What I did was keep trying, over and over, and none of it sticks. I've been bouncing between different servers and different expansions, rolling up a new class and telling myself that this time will be different, that this is the character that finally pulls me back in and reminds me why I love this in the first place. And then I get to around level 20 and I just drift off and stop logging in. I've done that with a handful of classes now, to the point where I honestly can't tell you anymore whether the problem is the game or whether the problem is me. It's probably a tangled mix of the two that I can't quite pull apart. Because
It is a tangled mix of the two. It's problem of the game for sucking balls, and it's your problem from being an addict. So if you can get over the being an addict part, which I understand, it's incredibly difficult thing to do because I've been inside of that loop until I came back to try Midnight after 8 years of not touching any Blizzard product whatsoever. Literally, I did not even have BattleNet on my account, like on my PC, like nothing at all. You should quit. You should just quit. You should just rip off the band-aid. At the very least, wait until the Classic Plus reveal we're gonna get in 2 months from now. And if that sucks, I truly lost all hope and faith in Blizzard.
the strange thing underneath all of
You
it
shouldn't
is
buy
that I
any of
do
their
still love
products.
this. Or at least I love a lot of it. The reading about WoW, the keeping up with everything going
Yeah, and just for clearance, I quit Midnight after 1 month as well. I felt so bad for paying Blizzard and playing the game, but I just had to try. I mean, everyone just gassed it up so much. I took the bait like an idiot. It's definitely on me.
on, the sitting down to make these videos for you, all of that still means a lot to me. Even on the days when I'm tired and I have to push myself a bit, I still make the video, because somewhere in there it's still fun. But when it comes to actually logging in and playing, that same pull just isn't there anymore. And when something you used to love turns into a thing you keep having to talk yourself into, I think it's trying to tell you something you maybe don't want to hear. And a lot of this is pretty simple, and honestly a bit boring. I just don't have the time for it anymore. I don't mean that as some big complaint, it's just the ordinary way life fills up on you as the years go by. But the version of WoW I fell in love with, that slow old classic version, was never built For somebody living the way I live now, it was built for a person with long open evenings to give it. Hours to sink into a zone, grind out a bit of reputation, just be there long enough for the world to slowly open up to you. And when all you've got is these little scattered pockets of 20 or 40 minutes, the game doesn't hand you much back for that. So you
That's true for every single MMORPG out there, so I don't understand this statement. If you only have 1 hour a day to play a video game, never insert yourself into like any live service game whatsoever, any MMORPG whatsoever. Just play single player games. Literally play Baldur's Gate 3, it would last you a year. Like, MMORPGs might not be for you, and that's okay. If you don't have the time, it's completely fine. By the way, I completely understand. I have 3 to 4 hours a day to play a video game. On stream, by the way, because all I do is I work, I have a day job. Unfortunately, I'm employed. So I work, I come home from work, then I rest a bit, and I immediately start streaming for 4 hours. Or a little bit past that, but usually 4 hours is like the cutoff point. I never stream less than that. So I technically only have 4 hours to play on stream, and that's it. And I can't commit to like insanely long-term games because of it, and I fully understand. Thankfully, I can still play MMOs, but I like, how do I say that? I basically make sure that I can afford to play and spend the necessary required time to invest myself and immerse myself inside of a video game before I commit to it. So that's pretty much what you need to do. It's okay if you don't have time to play MMOs RPG. Maybe you will in the future, and I hope you do. But if you can't, it's not a game problem, it's a you problem. I really have to make sure you guys understand that.
log in, you
Imagine having a job, lol, what a loser. Yeah, I know, right? That's why I'm trying to make it out as a streamer. But I think my problem is my content is mostly for balding men, and all of you guys are too employed. That's why listen, I've only been streaming for 3 months now, I think, even slightly less than that. We've been making great numbers, but I need you guys to be unemployed. Like, that's unacceptable. You guys really, you need to lay off your jobs and watch my streams. Imagine. I strongly disagree with the current meme of I don't have time to play. Adults with full-time job and kids find time to play like EverQuest WoW because the game was just rewarding. Listen, it's like true. It was true 2 decades ago when society was not completely controlled by guys in suits. Okay? Nowadays, you have to work your ass off for peanuts. I know, because I'm on the job market, and the job market sucks. It's not what it used to be. Nowadays, you're coming back from home. You commute for like, I think the average commute is above 1 hour. If I'm not mistaken, feel free to correct me on that. And on top of commuting, you have to go home, you have to do chores, and you work for at the very least 9 hours. It's not even the 8 hours we used to work anymore, it's 9. So you don't have that much time anymore. It's completely different. It was true 2 decades ago, it's not true nowadays.
potter about, you don't get far with anything. And then you log out feeling like you took the small bit of free time you had and wasted it. The honest
it's
part of
literally
it is that the
survival
version
mode,
of
exactly.
me who had those endless free evenings just isn't around anymore. And I keep trying to play as though he still is, and then feeling disappointed and a little guilty when it doesn't come together the way it used to.
Yeah, that's not my point. Games back then were an escape that's worth it, whether you spent 1 hour in or 10 hours. Modern games feel like a second job by design. That is true. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Now games became into time sink and money sink rather than just, have fun and play the game. I do agree with that.
And whenever I sit and ask myself what kept me logging in, year after year after year, it was never the raids or the loot or any of the systems. It was the people. My friends were in there, so I was in there too. And the game itself was mostly just the place where we all happened to hang out. And then, somewhere along the line, as people drifted off and got pulled away by their own lives, that reason I had for showing up got quieter and quieter without me really noticing. And I think I spent a couple of years after that just forcing myself to keep playing, chasing a feeling that had already mostly packed up and left. Telling myself the whole time that I still loved playing, when what I missed was how it felt back when everyone was still around. That's a hard thing to admit to yourself, that maybe you were never tired of the game at all. Maybe you were just tired of playing it on your own.
Damn. There's nothing
And
to
it
come
isn't
back
like
to.
there's some obvious place waiting for me to go instead. which is part of what makes this whole moment feel so strange. Blizzard isn't putting out a version of the game I actually want right now. And even when something does
What are you talking about? There are like 6 different versions of the game. You're telling me you're not interested in one of them? Like, you're telling me, okay, so let's see. We have Classic, which have been released 3 times. Uh, we have Season of Discovery, which is just uninspired garbage. We have TBC Anniversary, which again we play for the 3rd time. We got Classic Pandas that nobody really wants to play because it's garbage anyway. We have Hardcore, which is a feature that people have asked for, and I guess Hardcore is the outlier here, and people are kind of excited for that. And oh, we have Retail that nobody wants to play. So 6 different versions of the game. 5 are garbage, 1 is mediocre. And I mean, Classic obviously isn't like garbage, but we played that before. So why would we do that again? Like, we're just gonna get the same rehash thing over a cycle? Like, what are we doing here? Just give us a new experience. Give us something that private servers has offered us for years. Why can't you do it? Why are you so lazy and incompetent? You can't create anything new. Oh, I know why. Because evil can only corrupt and destroy, which good forces has made. And that's exactly what describes Blizzard nowadays.
sound interesting, I already know what I'd find the moment I logged in. Bots stretched across every zone, farming away endlessly, draining the life out of the exact thing that's supposed to make a world like this feel real. And the private servers I've tried have mostly been shut down right out from under me while I was still playing. We've all watched a lot of that happen lately. Or they're running some version of the game that just isn't the thing I've been looking for, so I end up stuck in this odd little spot where I'm tired of the game I've got, and there's nothing clear to walk toward instead.
The one thing
Now,
that
to be
still
fair,
works.
there has been one version lately that grabbed hold of me, and that's Hardcore, and it's worth sitting with why that one worked when nothing else did, because the answer says a lot about everything else I've been talking about. The short of it is that Hardcore is the one version where I feel like the time I put in gets respected. You die, and that character is gone for good. And I know that sounds like the complete opposite of respecting your time, but stay with me a second, because it makes sense. Once death is permanent, every little decision suddenly carries weight. Every pull, every quest, every choice about where to go and who to trust. All of it matters.
Yeah, I don't have time anymore. Let's play Hardcore. It's kind of a weird one. I thought about it, but listen, I guess since it's like a permanent server and it's not going to go anywhere really, people don't really mind taking that extra time. I think what he's saying is that he's afraid of not catching up to other people because he's too far behind, and I do kind of get that. That is true. Bro, imagine leveling a human warrior in Classic again for the 5th time. Yeah. No, for the 50th time. Yeah, exactly. Maybe this time it would be different.
Because the whole thing can end at any second. And nothing in the run feels like filler you're suffering through to get to the good part. You're present for all of it, in a way normal WoW pretty much never asks of you anymore. And in this funny roundabout way, it even solves the whole time problem I was talking about. Everyone around you is dying off just as constantly as you are. So you never feel like you're falling behind, because half the people leveling next to you are forever starting again from scratch. That quiet pressure to keep pace with everyone just isn't hanging over you. But the real reason it works is that it genuinely feels like a proper MMO again. The kind where you have to lean on each other and work together, where talking to the people around you matters, and you group up because you actually need each other, not because a tooltip pointed you at it. Where even the professions carry weight, because that bit of first aid or that one piece of gear might be the thing that keeps you
Edwin is
breathing.
crying again,
Where
guys.
every choice grows out of the run itself and out of being careful, because the danger behind all of it is real. That's the exact thing WoW handed us 20 years ago that almost nothing seems able to hand us now. And somehow Hardcore found its way back to it.
It's not just me.
And the
of
thing
course.
that makes me fairly sure this isn't just some private funk I've talked myself into is that when I look around, a lot of other people seem to be sitting with their own version of the same thing. You can see it everywhere. People talking about slowly losing their motivation and drifting away from the game without even being sure why. And even the big streamers, the people who've built their whole living on top of this game, have been stepping back lately, canceling their subscriptions, wandering off to other games, saying more
No, they've actually been shilling harder for Blizzard to give them position at the Classic Plus spot because Blizzard is going to announce it at BlizzCon 2 months from now, and every single streamer has been bootlicking Blizzard heels because they want the spot on their panel. There's going to be like a panel for it, and that's why I constantly call them out for it. Because you knew the game was trash for years, you didn't say anything, and at most you said the most light tap on the wrist there can possibly be. You never gave harsh criticism because you were in cahoots with Blizzard and were afraid of your position being taken by someone else. It's so laughable, it's stupid, it's cringe, and that's why you should never listen to WoW streamers ever. Don't even listen to me. Just always take two varied opinions and just cross information and reach your own conclusion. That is the best thing you can do for yourself.
or less straight out that they're just not feeling it anymore. And when even the people who are literally paid to love World of Warcraft are starting to admit that they don't, I have a hard time believing that means nothing.
They never loved WoW. It was always about
And
money.
yet,
Maybe
despite
they
all
loved
of
it
that,
back in the day,
I'm
but not
somehow
now.
still completely hooked on the whole idea of MMOs, and I can't fully explain why even to myself. I know plenty of people around my age are tied to this kind of game in a way that doesn't make much practical sense once you look at how little time many of us have for it. Everything sensible about my life now is pointing me toward smaller games. The kind of thing I can pick up for 20 minutes and put back down without a second thought. And yet some stubborn part of me still wants that big living breathing world with a load of other real people running around inside it. Because there's
Real
something about it.
Did he say real people in my bot game? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses there, Chief. What are we talking about here? Like, don't you like it whenever you enter a big city and all you see is one guy going around and like 5 different NPCs? Well, not, I guess, like, listen, technically they're real, right? They're just following him around. Surely, he's not multi-boxing. Like, what are we talking about here? Don't you like it when the entire auction house is being invalidated by bots flooding the market? Like, what are we even talking about here, dude? What a weirdo. I can't believe he actually just said that.
Nothing else has ever quite given me.
Shameless.
This feeling of being one small person wandering around inside a huge shared place, bumping into total strangers along the way, all of us somehow existing in the same world at the same moment. I'm not ready to let that feeling go. I just want to find it somewhere that fits the life I'm living now.
He's too hooked.
Which is more or less what brings me to Guild Wars 2. Because if I'm being honest about where I might actually end up
Guild
spending
Wars
my
mentioned.
time next, it's probably there. I've tried it before and it never quite pulled me away from Azeroth, but a big part of that was simply that I never had anyone to play it with, which, like I admitted earlier, is quietly the whole story of my WoW life too. But there was a stretch a while back where it did get its hooks into me. I leveled an Elementalist all the way to 80, messed around with some PvP, ran a fractal or two, which is sort of their version of a dungeon if you squint at it. And the thing that stuck with me was how much more alive the whole world felt. Because you can't cross a single zone over there without walking straight into some big event that a load of other players are already piling into. On your way to max level, you keep running headlong into these enormous world bosses that stay lodged in your memory afterward. And the thing I keep turning over is how the whole game seems built around players helping each other rather than elbowing each other aside. In WoW, if the two of us run at the same mob, we're basically racing to see who tagged it first. Over in Guild Wars, if we both hit it, we both walk away with our own full loot and our own full experience, nothing split down the middle, nobody losing out. So the whole thing is wired, so that running into another living person out in the world is a good thing the game goes out of its way to reward.
Okay, so this came out of left field. I did not expect him to talk about Guild Wars 2 there, but it's funny and I'm glad that he said that because, as you know, I quit World of Warcraft recently to try out Guild Wars 2 and I'm through the process of leveling through the 3rd expansion, or the 2nd one, sorry, like Path of Fire. It's really great, it's fun, it's an amazing game. It's not World of Warcraft. Like, World of Warcraft will always be my #1 MMORPG, but Guild Wars 2 does excel at the things that he just mentioned. But he should have mentioned that the game is entirely horizontal. The moment you reach max level, there is no more powerful things you can get outside of legendaries, and legendaries technically aren't even powerful. They're just, you can change their stats whenever you want. So it's just like convenient more than power. But that being said, it does make the entire game relevant, and you'll always see people running around at starter zones, at expansions. Everywhere you'll go, people will play. It's not only the latest expansion that people are currently experiencing, it's the entirety of the world. The world is constantly alive. Well, I guess that's why it's called Living World, right? And that was always Guild Wars 2's strongest point. That being said, it may not be for everyone. So he kind of should have mentioned that, but I completely agree. If you lack the time to play a proper MMORPG, Guild Wars 2 should be your go-to game because it will always respect your time, and every single thing you do will never be invalidated because everything in Guild Wars 2 is indelible. And the moment you do something, let's say you just work towards creating a legendary, and you suddenly decide to stop for a couple of months, you can literally log back into the game and continue right from the point you left off. And that's incredible.
It's a small, quiet design choice when you say it out loud. It completely changes how the world feels to move around inside. I'm not telling you it's some flawless perfect game, or that it's going to magically fix every single thing I've been describing. But if there's one game out there I can genuinely picture myself spending my time inside going forward, one that fits who I am at this point in my life, it's very probably that one. So let me just try to say the thing I came here to say. These are strange times to be a World of Warcraft person, and the plain truth is that I just don't feel like playing it anymore. It's taken me a long while to be able to say that out loud, because after all these years it almost feels like a betrayal to admit it. Following the news, keeping up with everything, making these videos for you.
It shouldn't feel like a betrayal. The game betrayed you. Blizzard sold us, the consumers, to a bunch of shareholders with suits. Like, you shouldn't feel bad about neglecting World of Warcraft. The game clearly doesn't respect you. It doesn't respect your time, who you are, what you stand for. No, all they want to do is indoctrinate you for some reason that is unbeknown to me, or at the very least, I think, anyone else. But you shouldn't care about that. You didn't came to a video game to play furry, weird dragons. You didn't came into World of Warcraft to do Troll, Darkspear, Rainbow, Dash Run for a cause you never chose. No, you wanted to play World of Warcraft because it was a good game targeting a young adult and had dark, greedy fantasy settings. And now all of that is gone. So you should be gone too.
All of that is still good fun, and I'm not going anywhere on that front. But the logging in and playing part, I'm just not feeling it, I'm tired of it, and slowly, bit by bit, I've come around to being okay with that. Because the truth is, you don't have to keep playing the same game for 22 years straight. You're allowed to grow tired of a thing you once loved. You're allowed to lift your head and look around at whatever else might be out there. None of that is a betrayal.
What? I came into WoW and rolled a gnome? Damn, dude, that's crazy. I actually liked you, now I have to permaban you, that's crazy.
And none of it means you failed. It's just the ordinary thing that happens when a
Guns
game
for
and the
hire,
person playing it slowly grow in two different directions across a long stretch of time. And I'm not closing any doors, I'm not deleting anything or making some big dramatic exit. I'm just being honest with you that the thing which used to come so easily has quietly gotten hard, and that maybe the kindest thing I can do is let it be, whatever it is to me now. Which is something I love reading and thinking and talking about a good deal more than something I love sitting down and playing. And I don't know for certain where I go from here. Maybe it ends up being Guild Wars, maybe I just drop back into hardcore every now and then when the mood takes me. Maybe WoW itself pulls me right back one of these days with the right version at the right time because stranger things have happened. But for now, I'm just letting myself gently stop forcing it. And if you've ever felt anything even a little like this, whether it was about WoW or some other game you loved for too long to even remember life before it, I'd love to hear how it went for you in the comments, where you ended up going and whether you ever wandered back, because I've got a quiet feeling a lot of us are sitting in the same spot right about now, and it helps just to know you're not the only one. And if you made it all the way to the end of something this rambly and personal.
It's AA meeting for WoW addicts. But I completely understand where he's coming from. He's absolutely right about that. It's crazy, man. Yeah, but where else am I supposed to engage with my gay centaur fetish? I don't know. You're absolutely right. We need to have an outlet for that. And it should be World of Warcraft, a game franchise that built itself of dark fantasy settings and like pure giga chadness. True. This guy sounds like he's in a bad marriage. Bro, this is exactly what I was about to say. He's in a toxic relationship with World of Warcraft, which I do understand. I've been there, I know. But he's slowly starting to open his eyes. So I guess it's fine. It's very, I don't know, like dejecting? I don't know if that's like a real word. He's like, I understand why he's so dejected about that. It's very difficult to let go of a game you once knew and loved. Just admitting it was completely corrupted and there's nothing good about it anymore. I do understand that and I respect it, but he needs to wake up. We need to open his eyes slowly. Don't worry, day by day, brick by brick, it will happen. Yet Dwarf Giga Chad's better than Gnome? True. But to be fair, it's Horde over the Alliance every single time. Yeah, go to Tumblr. No, it just it's insane. But yeah, otherwise, very very good video. I actually agreed with him on many of the points. I just really hope he wakes up and smells the flowers. I really think he deserves that. He needs to be unshackled from the WoW burden and, you know, just play a good game for once.